Hey everyone, it's P4L. In today's P4L review, we're starting off the new year with the newest masterpiece figure from Takara Tomy. This is their MP-39 Cybertron Warrior Sunstreaker, as you can see, and it's the long-awaited other half of the Lambros. I'm pretty excited about this figure. Had mixed thoughts when I first saw it, but after having it in hand, well, you'll see. It's pretty amazing. So, let's start off with one little extra piece. As always, thanks to my sponsor, Toy Dojo, they provide these coins for free if you pre-order Masterpiece figures, which is really nice. These are from the Hasbro Asia releases. So you can see a nice big coin with Sunstreaker's mug on there. MP-39 Sunstreaker, you can go ahead and just open it from the back here if you want to get the card out. And even on the back, he has his chrome intakes, which are very iconic to the character. With packaging review, we have the standard MP style box. I don't think it's the most flattering of poses. You kind of get all the mess up top, which is kind of reminiscent of their Megatron, kind of messy from the top. But all other angles are pretty flattering for this guy. They do have his very nicely officially licensed Lamborghini Countach LP500S version here. And then the long life design, which they got for MP38, I guess? Megatron, or yeah, MP36, 36, something like that. Anyway, Sunstreaker, some warning labels, some branding, the hologram for the official licensed Lamborghini, his alt mode on that side, his robo mode on this side with a nice kind of gun pose. On the back here is where we see a lot of the promo images. You get to see his alt mode. Actually, his alt mode, you can see he actually has option to hide the chrome intakes. You see him with MP12 Plus, his various faces, and his accessories, weapons, and he actually comes with chip as well as the evil alien mask. So he comes up with quite a bit. So here's what you get out of packaging. Really quickly, we'll take a look at this. Again, you get the evil alien mask from the movie, the gun, another handgun, 2 sets of faces, Chip and his wheelchair, and of course, Sunstreaker. In addition to that, you get his bio card or stack card, whatever, collector card. Really nice piece of artwork, nice action pose. On the back, you get his stats, and again, it's a Lamborghini Countach LP500S, or at least very close to one as far as the one of the alt modes go. The instructions are in the same kind of format, big fold out, has a lot of different playability and fun factor to it, which is nice, and they go into good detail about that. One thing I will point out is that they actually go to the trouble of giving instructions on how to put Chip in the chair. It's literally put Chip, arrow from his butt into the seat, and that's it. Why they felt the need to do that, I do not know. I will say that there are a couple pieces of instructions that are very bad or out of order and could potentially damage your figure. So I'm going to point those out. You should definitely follow my instructions over the ones that they have. The one last piece of extra stuff they give you is an extra set of side view mirrors that, just in case these pop off, I actually didn't know that they were separate pieces. In case they pop off, you can clip these off and install them. The downside is that they're not painted, so they're definitely going to mismatch with your figure. So the lesson is be careful and don't lose your side view mirrors. And again, if you listen to my instructions, you shouldn't have a problem. Let's just dump all this out. So looking at all of these individually, let's start with Chip. He's Chip. He's just kind of around. No painted face details really, although he does have molded glasses, which is nice. We'll get him situated, and he does sit very nice and fairly secure in here. I was like, for a second I was like, does he have a magnet in his butt? But no, he does not. We'll put him off to the side. Here is the evil alien mask from the movie that they made. Who else was in that movie? What's it called? The flying dude. I can't even remember. Tracks. There is his handgun, which can transform like so, and we'll show this off in a bit. Here's his other blaster. which they both have a set of the standard MP tabs, but this one has an extra tab for storage. Put those off to the side. He also comes with 2 extra sets of faces in addition to his like regular face. So the first one is kind of a happy face, and the other one's kind of a sad face. And holding it like this, I'd realized that it looks like kind of the drama mask. Remember, if you were ever in drama or theater, they have like the 2 masks, the happy and sad. It's almost exactly what you would see in one of those symbols. Anyway, here we go with the review. Doing a quick 360, he looks really quite nice. They did an excellent job, and I love the chrome. The chrome is a plus or minus though. Mine was pretty much scratch free, although you know it does have micro scratches. But after a few transformations, I did see a couple of scratches here, which they're not terrible. There's some here, but it kind of is par for the course with chrome, right? The paint is actually quite nice. It's very clean. The yellow is very solid and matches with the rest of the car. You can't tell really that well that this is a different yellow than this, or that they're different plastics. So this is translucent blue plastic that's painted yellow. It's a very close match. Very mustardy yellow. The only thing I'm sad about is that they don't have the black here on the intakes. And here too. That's pretty classic, iconic Lamborghini. And given that the MP12S had it, I'm surprised that they didn't go here. Like you can see, this paint is actually pretty sloppy too. Yeah. So they did some positives, some minor details that they went ahead and painted. This little handle piece here, I think it's the lock, or maybe the button to lift the doors, which they can open, suicide style. Or is it Falcon Wings? Suicide is the suicide. Yeah, they're suicide doors. Yeah. But that's actually very cool that they were able to integrate that. He does have the classic Lamborghini Countach wheels. They're not rubberized, which is the downside. He does actually have the feature where you can pop up the headlights. So these are actually the turn signals. The headlights were actually these pop-up ones, which were pretty common for this era of supercar to have pop-ups. Most people thought these were the hot pop-ups, but they were not. Also there's orange here on the side as opposed to just yellow, and orange on the badge. So they did a really good job. You can't see it here, but when you open this up for the alternate mode, you can see the red back. You can see the Lamborghini and Countach molded in. They did quite a good job. I'm pretty happy with this as far as paint and details go. And we'll see the other mode in just a bit. Other things that you can do are you can split this spoiler and pull this out, and it's this anti-aircraft gun, which I think he showed in like one episode. It was kind of cool that they included that. I always forget the hood. So this is on double hinge. You can open up the hood as well as the doors. Again, a lot of extra functionality. This is kind of built into the transformation as well. Weapons. You do have a slot here and some kind of indentations for you to go ahead and push this in. Be careful, again, you'll probably scratch your chrome if you do this too much or too roughly. I mean, they do go in further, but I'm just not doing it because I don't want to scratch my chrome any more than it already is. An alternative storage for this gun is actually to fold it up like so, like we showed before, and it'll store inside here, which we'll show off in just a second. I guess we should just do comparisons first, since we already kind of brought them out. See, the Autobot logo is vastly different, but they did a very good job keeping both of them kind of basically exactly the same. Obviously, this part is extra, and we'll show that it does go away for the alternate transformation. So to get to the alt form, we're going to show that off first and then go directly into robot mode transformation. So to lift this up first, pull out on the side tabs here, and these securely tab this back piece in place. Go ahead and pull up on this. Be careful, try not to just pull up on that because you're gonna potentially damage your chrome there, especially at the corner. You can lift that up, and this is where the gun can store, like right between his arms, and that will close back up. But let's get this out of the way for now. Oh, I forgot the anti-aircraft gun. So there's actually one more feature. If you split this, the spoiler, this little gun shows up, and it was an anti-aircraft gun that I think he showed in one episode, which is pretty typical of Transformers features, that they show up in one episode. But kind of cool that they added it, and it probably didn't cost them too much to integrate. So sorry about that diversion, but go ahead and flip this up. The first thing you'll do, and this is where one of the instructions was wrong, they say to straighten it out, flatten it out. It's actually the opposite. You want to close this up, and you want to use a double hinge here to get clearance. Go like this, and then these two pieces are actually pinned so that you can angle them to fit the contour of the car. Then you just go ahead and close it back up. Close these panels. And then come around to the back. The back is where you're going to flip this open like so. And they're going to rotate down to reveal the additional taillight pieces, which is really cool. And they hide fairly well. So I was really impressed by that. And that's really it. So that's his... Oh, and lastly, you have to push this spoiler forward. And you can see that was one of my minor complaints, is when this is back and you have the alternate mode, you have like a gap. You can see here, like it's sunk it in on the rear section of the car. It's a minor thing, and you can actually push this forward on the other mode, but then you'll just have these two pieces kind of sticking out. I think I prefer that, honestly, but just an aside there. So that's really it for his alt mode. We're going to go ahead and get into transformation from here directly. Doing that same thing, just open this back up. Pull up on this, like so. Let's leave that for now. What we're going to deal with first is the lower legs. And I'm coming around to this side to show you there's a couple of tabs. 1, 2 here, 1, 2 here, and then the long pegs here. So what you want to do is pull on this. They even have a little nice gap for you, and then make sure that these are untabbed. So here's the next section where you want to be very careful about your transformation because their instructions are quite odd. Here, let me get this out of the way first. Get this moved up and get this flipped up out of the way. So they say in the instructions, immediately pull down on this and straighten the legs down. Do not do that. One, there's no clearance for this. You can see you're running into this hip skirt, what will become the hip skirt. You could probably get around it by like twisting this and then twisting it a little bit more, but it's not worth the hassle, and really it's poorly designed instructions. What you should do first is immediately rotate these around, and they're on separate pieces, so there's no concern about flipping these hips around. Do that first. Otherwise, you're potentially going to damage your figure. And I'm not going to be sad for you because I just told you how to do it. Flip that up. And then flip this butt flap piece up here and tap it into place. Alright? Now we can actually bring the legs fully down and straight like we were supposed to do before, but they instructed us incorrectly. Next up is dealing with the foot. First thing we'll do is pull out on it like this. Rotate it. On the bottom here, you have this little piece. You're going to flip that out. It's going to become part of the heel. And next, you're just going to get this wheel facing from the outside to the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and use these double hinges. And this actually reminds me of that toy Salus, the third-party MP ratchet. They did something similar to this on a couple set of double hinges for the foot. But I digress. Fold this back in, and then you have the foot all done. The next part, you want to pull down this side piece like so. And then you want to pull out on this door like that. The reason why you want to do that, and get this double hinge extended, the reason why you want to do that is so that you can fold in these pieces, these windows, and before you collapse them in, and then fold it back up. It's very important to do it in that order. Next, you're going to go ahead and fold this down, and this is another place where I differ from the instructions. The instructions say to go ahead and flip this panel down first, and then flip this closed. I find that to be much harder. So the reason being is that they don't really show this, but when you close this up, you'll see this little ridge here. It's almost like a tab, and then this piece here. It's clearly designed for this to go around and through to secure this into place. Kind of like what they did with Inferno, the Inferno mold. They had something similar to this in the Inferno mold, but they don't really show that off. And then close this down. If you do it the other way, it's much, much harder. I mean, I know why they're doing it. The reason is, and I'll show you on this foot as we get there, is because they want to store the gun in the leg. It's an optional storage place. But if you do it the way I did it, you can't you can't store it that way. Or at least you're gonna have to do it kind of a weird way. So again, let's just go ahead and do this. Flip the heel out. Get this double hinged wheel base facing downward. Close that up. Bring this down. Open the doors and extend it so that you can fold in the window. Collapse it down. Close it up. And so here, so if we do it their way, what we would do is go ahead and make use of this tab. On either side, it can do it on this one or this one, it doesn't matter. Then you close this up. Come on. Oh, sorry, facing the wrong way. That's why it's not working. Close this up, like so. It fell off, but you get the idea. And then you try to bring this in. But it's very hard to actually get into this section because one, you kind of get interference from here, and two, it's hard to really push around this tab. Of course, it worked pretty easily that time. But again, my recommendation is to do it the other way. Let's see if we can actually get this securely tabbed. Oh, yeah, it keeps, I think it keeps wanting to fall out. But if it works for you, go ahead and do it that way. I just highly suggest you don't do it that way. But that by itself is the lower leg section, which wasn't that bad. And they did it really elegantly. You can see it's very clean. A little bit of hollowness in there, but really not that bad. Next up, we're going to come to the midsection. The important thing here is that there's three sections, right? The upper, the waist, and this middle piece that has this flap and this windshield. You want to rotate this 180 degrees. Like so. I'm going to flip this down. And then up here, while we're here, just go ahead and pull back on this entire section of the backpack. Alright. Bring the arms down, arms and the sides down, like so. They're going to kind of sit right there. And then you'll see this little tab here. What that does is you push up on that and lock it into place, and you'll see Sunstreaker's head come into play. They actually tell you to do that later. It's actually kind of stupid. They tell you to close the chest and then later open it to pull out the head. It makes no sense. But yeah, just do that now. Flip this around 180 degrees. And you'll see this is the little hook that goes around this little tab here. It's a little hard to show, but go ahead and just give it a soft push. These three pieces of the fake windshield and windows, just you have to push them down so they angle. The shoulder pieces, just fold them out very quickly, rotate them 180 degrees, and then close them back up. And they get to the correct angle. The arms are actually really well engineered as well. So go ahead and rotate these like this. And you can see the fist kind of peeking out. The easiest way is to just go ahead and pull out on the fist, and you'll see this piece release. You're going to extend that all the way out. And you're going to extend the elbow. And the elbow is on a slider. So once you get this like so, you're going to slide this into place. And then flip this light gray piece. I don't know why they had to mold it in a different color gray, but go ahead and fill that up. And that's it. And you can mess with the hands. The thumbs separately articulated. And he actually has a wrist pivot, which is really nice. Same thing on the other side. So again, pull down on the fist here like so, releasing that. Straighten this piece out. Straighten out the elbow, slide it, and then close on this light gray piece. There we go. All right, and then we're going to deal with the backpack. So go ahead and fold this up like this for now. This piece, what we're going to do is, what was it? We're going to straighten this out. This piece will flip up. Flip it up as much as you can. These round blaster pieces, you're going to fold down ever so slightly. And then those panels are going to flip almost 180 degrees. Probably not 180, but like 270 degrees. Like that. All right. Do we do this now? Yeah. So the spoiler splits, pressing it forward in the middle, and then rotating one piece down and the other piece down. I actually prefer an alternate transformation, but I'm going to show you that after I transform it the official way. So from here, you're going to use the double. So there's two hinges. There's one like this, and there's one at the base here. Go ahead and fold this like so, and get this all the way collapsed into the backpack. Rotate up here, and this is where it gets a little tricky. What you need to do is get this tab piece kind of in this slot, but what you want to do first is pull this down, this whole section down, and get this windshield behind the chrome pieces. Oh, actually, sorry. Let's finish this off first. So rotate these faux pieces down like that, and then rotate these around to make it a more of a smooth backpack. And these, I guess, can be the thrusters for this jetpack. So once you get this windshield piece in, you slide everything up, and you'll see this is kind of at a 45-degree angle now. This hook piece can slide forward, and it latches on right there. And with that, you have Sunstreaker in his robot mode, and he looks really nice. I think this is a really, really well done robot mode. It's well proportioned. His chest is still quite big, but it's not, as big as the actual car mode. It is a little bit more simple. Again, it has more details than like Inferno, but it does have some molded details, some stuff here. But you still see a lot of flat boxiness, but it's not as apparent here. Maybe because a lot of the alt mode has lines to be a Lamborghini. But overall, it has a lot of nice details, and the backpack is definitely not as heinous in person as I thought it was going to be from pictures. And it's pretty svelte. The silhouette's really quite nice, and we'll go into articulation in a second. But I wanted to just give you one option here. So I said that what you could do as an alter transformation is once you have these flipped, rotate them the other way. And the reason why I say do this is because it shortens it a bit, and also has a kind of a nice, almost kind of like wing design as opposed to this, as you can see here. And I would actually like it to rotate a little bit more, because this does show up from the front a little bit more. It sticks out, and you theoretically could angle this in more, but there's a little nub here on this yellow rotating piece. I'm thinking about actually getting rid of that so I can rotate it in more, and would be in line basically with the rest of the jetpack. Would be shorter. There's no functional reason that I can see for that nub to exist other than being a stoppage for this. So I actually prefer that. So I think it looks much better overall, but it's really up to you. I just want to give you guys an option of what I'm going to be doing with my Sunstreaker. And again, I'll actually probably mod mine. I usually don't mod my MPs, but I think I'm going to do that for this one. But it doesn't affect transformation any other way, and it actually gives you better clearance at the waist than the previous official transformation. So getting into articulation, actually let's go into his head first. So this is his original head, which looks quite nice. Pretty plain, again, very smooth, no details. I wish there were kind of like vent lines or something like that, which I thought were pretty standard for Sunstreaker. But it is what it is. With this amount of awesome engineering and design, I'm gonna actually let it slide this one time. As far as articulation goes, his head is on a ball joint. You can see that up here. But it's also on a cut-out panel, cut-out section here to let you look up. So if you're doing a flying jetpack thing, you can actually look up. In addition to that, he has another panel here, which gives you even more articulation should you want to like look down or look very oddly. I don't know why they felt the need to add that, but it's actually quite nice. But looking up is always a benefit for people who can fly. Let's see, shoulders. Shoulder also have a lot of articulation, especially for an official figure. He has butterfly joints, shoulders that go around like that, and can go up like this. And you can get these out of the way if you want. But they don't really get in the way too much. He has a bicep swivel. Single jointed elbow here that can get almost 180 degrees. However, if you want, you can push in on that sliding joint and make his elbow double jointed. Here, if I can get it to actually activate. There we go. And you can use that for other purposes, but you can, it lengthens the arm a little bit and gives you a little bit more posability. For me, I was using it for him to do with his wrist and his thumb articulation and his hands, his fingers. All four are in one molded piece, standard MP car kind of style. You can actually do a pretty convincing, like, Kamehameha, like Goku style. Or I guess if you want to do Street Fighter, you can do Street Fighter as well, since they're coming out with Street Fighter Transformers. But he does a really convincing job. Most figures can't do this just because of the way it requires the arms to get so close and scrunched together. I mean, you do have to make it look a little bit odd in the shoulder area, but the fact that he can do that is pretty amazing. I'm not gonna lie, I was very impressed that he can do that. Also, if you like Street Fighter, you can also get his Zangief flexing action going on from Street Fighter V with these butterfly joints. So he has a lot of articulation in the upper body, including an ab crunch, which, again, I think this might be one of the first times I can think of that we got, as far as a Carbot, I don't know if any of the Carbot had an ab crunch. Somebody else comment and correct me, because I'm sure I'm wrong. He does have 360. You probably get a little bit less than 360. Yeah, you probably get a little bit less than that with the official transformation, because these kind of get in the way. But it's not bad. He does have a butt flap that doesn't really do anything. But he does have a, very close to tramp stamp on his back here. If it was a little bit further up, he'd definitely have a tramp stamp. His his hips, again, these are separate pieces, but they basically are supposed to work in conjunction with the hips in robot mode. You can go do the splits or spinning bird kick if we're doing Street Fighter again. Thigh swivel, which is excellent. Kind of a high knee, but he does get a really deep knee bend. Easily more than 90 degrees. For the foot, he does have pivot here and tilt. And he doesn't really have separate, but he doesn't have any separate heel or toe, but that should be more than enough range for what you would need. You can point it pretty much straight due to his transformation. And he's very stable with that extra heel piece. So I think that's it for as far as articulation goes. I mean, really nothing out here. But yeah, I'm really impressed. He can get into some really crazy poses. He can fly. He can do the Superman up and away style. So I'm really enjoying this figure. It's easily the most articulated Carbot that we've gotten so far. So really quickly, to swap out the face, you just lift them up on that ball joint and that panel, just pull out on the face, and you can see how it's attached with one large tab and one small set of tabs. You just swap in another face. We'll just go with his sad screaming face. And then that's it. Additionally, you can bring his mask, and all it does is it just uses friction to go around his head, basically, and his chin. And you can have him doing his alien thing to recreate that scene, right? As far as his guns, they work as expected. They tab into the hands. Come on. Maybe not as expected. There we go. Where'd I put his handgun? Oh, it's in his leg. I was like, where'd I put that thing? Same thing here. If I can get it out. Just go ahead and unfold it. And you can put it in his hand as well. There we go. This tab here allows you to peg it in these slots on the backpack, should you want it to do that. Oh, I just noticed there's actually another slot like here, but I don't know why you would want it there. I don't even know if it fits. But in any case, he does have storage options, more than we typically get. So yeah, robot mode wise, I really don't have much to complain about. He looks great. Here he is next to the original MP-12, since my other one was in alt mode. But you can see they scale very well together. Basically head to head, as Lambros should be. As far as MP-10 goes, you can see that's how they scale. And the only other comparison I'll do in robot mode is to the obvious third-party character representation of Bad Cube's Sunsurge, who still looks great. To be honest, he looks great. There's definitely better stuff going on with this guy in terms of overall quality, paint, even transformation. His transformation is not a nightmare, but it's kind of a pain in some places. He also has a bit of a backpack, but they're both pretty clean. It really depends on what your preference is aesthetically. As far as overall better figure, he is definitely a better figure overall. But I'm not going to say he's a bad figure or that you should replace him. The only downside about his robot mode is if you're a toy fan, because as you notice, he has no option for a blaster like Sunsurge does. Not one or two. So if you really think of Sunstreaker as being a one-armed blaster dude, then you're not going to have that option unless they come out with a third-party kit of some sort. I thought that was a bit of an oversight, but given that, again, they're going for an ultra anime look or cartoon look, it doesn't surprise me. It's just a bit of a disappointment for me, especially given all the other kind of playability that they have. Maybe that's where they spent all their money. Yeah, so that's it for robot mode review. Let's go ahead and get this guy back to alt mode and finish off the review. All right, so first thing we'll do is deal with the backpack. Pull down on this, And again, depending on how you have this situated, whether it's like this or this, either way, you're going to have to pull out of this windshield. And you're going to want to pull out, rotate this and then pull out on the backpack on that double hinge. Get these flipped up like that. Get the spoiler up and around, close back up. These flaps will fold away. And these blaster pieces will fold back down. We're just gonna go ahead and go straight into his show mode. So let's go ahead and just flip this around and rotate it like that. Come on. There we go. Get this down. And once you have it pass through, you're going to go ahead and fold this in place. Like that. You can pull the spoiler back again if you want. Come on, spoiler piece. There we go. Like that. And then rotate these pieces slightly so that they're more at a flat as opposed to what they were before, which was slightly angled. So that's it for this backpack. You can actually fold this up like this for now if you want. Like so. Coming to the main body, first thing we'll do is push down on the head. We'll go ahead and pull the arm panels out, flip them down like this, like so. Get the thumb and fist straightened out as collapsed as possible. And the easiest way is to push in on this piece to get this elbow freed up if you haven't already. Collapse it in, and then just push back on the fist. And that should all kind of just fold into place. There we go. And you want to rotate it 90 degrees so the fist is facing out. Same thing on the, and flip this around 180 degrees. Same thing on the other side here. Open this up. Like so. Make sure everything's collapsed and then fold the fist up while simultaneously closing this in. There we go. Rotate this around, close it up, and then you'll have him looking like this. Pull up on his obliques. Get them folded around like that. These pieces, go ahead and pull on them so that they're flattened out. Untab this section here. Oh, that's a little scary. Just be careful, at least on mine it is, and rotate it, and just keep it in preparation for the next steps. Get the middle section stretched out like this. And again, we're just going to rotate the windshield piece and this piece on the other side, like so. Split the legs. Pull down on that butt flap to bring this forward. And at this point, go ahead and flip these hip skirts back all the way around. All right. If you want, you can start collapsing all this up too, but you can't really. Well, I guess you could. So I guess if you wanted, you could collapse all this up like that for now. Use his ab crunch backwards to give you the room to bring this down. Fold this up, and then bring the windshield back into place. You can see it's starting to form his alt mode. This will come up like that. Lastly, we just have to deal with the feet. So the first thing we need to do before anything else is pull these panels away. and bring this up, because this tabs in on this side piece here, so you can't actually open this up without pulling up on this tab. Go ahead and use that double hinge to get it open like so. Open up the window all the way. Oh, just be careful that that piece doesn't pop out. Oh, okay, there we go. Oh, that was an ordeal. Just be careful, I guess, because that's the first time it's happened to me. You have to keep this open, though, again, because that's going to be the last thing you do, is close the door. We're going to get these collapsed on itself with this knee. Just hold on for 1 second while we do the other leg. So again, bringing out the toe. Get the wheel in place. Rotate this down. Straighten this out. Remember to open up this panel first before you try to pull out on this piece. And let's see if this also is causing me problems. Yeah, see, that one worked just fine. I don't know why the other one was giving me problems. But just go ahead and close that up. Straighten out the toe. And then once again, we're going to collapse it in on its knee. Coming back to the bottom, again, the things you need to be wary of are these two tabs and this peg here. So I usually go with the peg first, and then those two tabs. But it's pretty simple once you keep an eye out for those. Bring these side pieces up and around. Go ahead and tab them into place. And then close the doors. And if you did that all correctly, everything should fit nice and neatly in your Sunstreaker's alt mode. So, final thoughts. This is easily the most impressive of all of the car bots that we've gotten so far. It has all of the cool engineering that we saw with the latest figures like Inferno and so forth. Even with Hot Rod, some of the cool stuff that they were doing there. Wheeljack. So I'm really impressed. I was almost hating on the Masterpiece line for a little bit, aside from the engineering. But even this guy's robot mode and all mode, they're actually pretty highly detailed, and maybe that's because Lamborghini required them to be, but it actually looks really nice. And did I not pull these panels back? But overall, I would say that it's easily the best MP car that we've gotten to date. Would I say that I still like some of the design choices they made? No. Some of the stuff I may have wanted them to do some other stuff, like adding the blaster for his robot mode, or painting some of this black. But all of that is kind of moot, in the sense that it's not what they're looking to do, right? Again, it's not what this designer really wants out of the line. And that's his choice, and if you're accepting of that, which is what I'm becoming way more accepting of that. You're gonna enjoy these figures a whole lot. There's a lot of crazy engineering going on to this that really has revived the Masterpiece feel for these. Some of the Masterpiece figures we've gotten in the past didn't feel as, magical as this figure does. So when it all is said and done, definitely pick this guy up if you're at all an MP collector, or even if you're a Countach fan, because he just looks awesome and he's a great engineered figure. Go ahead and click on the Toy Dojo link in the description below and you can get yours. If you have any questions or comments, or if I missed something, go ahead and leave that in the comment section below as always. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. And if you want to reach out to me, go ahead and contact me on Facebook or Twitter or somewhere else. Alright? That's all for today, everyone. Hope you have a good one.